The Dream That Waited. My name is Daniel. I am 20 years old. I live in a small house with my family. We are not rich. My father works in a shop. My mother stays at home. I have 2 younger brothers. They go to school. Our house is always full of noise. I have a big dream. I want to be a teacher. I love books. I love helping people learn. I study every night. I want to go to college. I believe I can do it. But my family does not believe in me. They think it is a waste of time. Every day my father says, "You must find a job. We cannot feed you forever." My mother says, "Dreams do not pay bills." My brothers laugh at me. "You are not smart enough," they say. Their words hurt me, but I stay quiet. I do not fight back. I just keep reading my books. I feel alone in my own home. No one understands me. I wake up early and help with chores. I go to the library after lunch. That is my favorite place. It is quiet. It smells like paper and hope. I read about great teachers. I dream of standing in front of a class, helping children learn. But dreams are heavy when you carry them alone. I wonder if they are right. Maybe I should stop dreaming. Maybe I should get a job. But deep in my heart, a small voice says, "Do not give up." One evening my father came home tired. He looked at me and said, "Daniel, you must start working. We need money. You are not a child." I wanted to speak, but I could not. My heart was heavy. I looked at my books. I looked at my hands. I felt small. The next morning my mother gave me a piece of paper. It had names of factories. "Go to these places," she said. "Ask for work. Any job will do." I nodded. I did not want to make her sad. I did not want to fight. I left the house with the paper in my hand. My books stayed on the table. I walked for hours. I went to many factories. The air was hot and full of smoke. The men inside looked tired and dirty. I asked for work. Some said no. Some said, "Come back later." I sat on a bench and looked at my hands again. They were not made for this work, but maybe this was my future. I came home late. My mother asked, "Did you find a job?" I said, "Maybe soon." My father said nothing. He just looked at me and shook his head. I went to my room and sat on the bed. I opened my book, but the words looked far away. My dream felt far away too. The next day I went to a small shop to ask for work. The man there was kind. He said, "You can help me clean and carry things." It was not much, but I said yes. I needed to help my family. I needed to be strong. I told myself, this is just for now. I will not stop dreaming. I worked hard every day. I was tired when I came home. I had little time to read, but every night I opened a book before I slept. Even if I read only 1 page, it gave me hope. I kept the dream alive in my heart. One night I sat outside the house. The sky was full of stars. I thought about school, books, and being a teacher. I missed that dream. It felt like something I lost, but I still had hope. I closed my eyes and saw myself in a classroom teaching children. That picture made me smile. The next week, my uncle came to visit. He worked in a city far away. He saw me and said, "You look tired, Daniel." I told him about the job, about the factory visits, and the dream I still had. He listened quietly. Then he said, "I believe in you. Never forget who you are." Those words stayed with me. They were small, but they were strong. I went to work the next day with new energy. I cleaned the shop, carried boxes, and smiled more. My boss saw the change. He said, "You're a good worker, Daniel." That made me proud. At night, I studied again. I wrote notes, read pages, and whispered English words. It was not easy. My eyes were tired, my hands hurt, but I kept going. Even when I felt alone, I did not stop. I remembered my dream. I held it close like a small fire in the cold. One day, I saw a sign on the wall of the shop. It said, "Night school, free classes for young people." My heart jumped. I asked my boss, "Can I leave early on Mondays and Wednesdays?" He said, "Yes. You work hard. You deserve it." I thanked him with a big smile. I ran home that day and told my parents. They looked surprised. My mother said, "If you can work and study, we support you." My father did not speak, but he did not say no. That was enough for me. The first day of school was hard. I was nervous. I had never been to night school before. The room was full of people older than me. Some were working, some were tired. But everyone had the same dream, to learn more. The teacher was kind. She smiled at me when I walked in. She said, "Welcome, Daniel. You can do this." That made me feel better. The lessons were not easy. We learned English words, math, and history. I had to remember many new things. At first, it felt like I couldn't keep up. I wanted to give up. But then I remembered my dream. I remembered my parents and how they believed in me. I couldn't stop now. I worked hard. I studied every night after work. I read books, did homework, and tried my best. It wasn't easy. Sometimes I was very tired, but I kept going. On weekends, I practiced with my friends. We helped each other. They taught me new words, and I taught them what I knew. Together, we learned. One day, the teacher gave us a test. I was nervous. I thought, what if I fail? But I tried to stay calm. I answered each question the best I could. When I finished, I felt proud of myself. Even if I didn't do perfect, I knew I had worked hard. A week later, the teacher returned the test papers. I opened mine, and there was a big smiley face on the top. She wrote, "Good job, Daniel. You are improving." I couldn't believe it. It wasn't just a grade. It was proof that I was getting better. I was not just a boy who worked in a factory. I was a learner, a student. That night, I called my parents and told them. They were so happy. My mother said, "We knew you could do it." My father said nothing, but I saw him smile. That was enough. Months passed, and I kept studying. I worked hard every day. I learned more English, math, and history. I could see the progress. It was not easy, but it felt good. Sometimes I would feel tired, but I remembered why I started. I remembered my dream of becoming a teacher. One day, the teacher told us something important. There is a job for a teaching assistant in the school. It is a good opportunity, she said. I was excited. This could be my chance. I decided to apply. It was a big step for me. I had to show what I had learned. The day of the interview, I was nervous. I wore my best clothes and went to the school. The principal asked me many questions. I answered them with all I had learned. I was nervous, but I tried to stay calm. After the interview, the principal smiled and said, "We will let you know soon." A week later, I received a letter. I opened it and saw the words, "You got the job." I was so happy. This was the first step towards my dream. I would finally be able to teach others, just like I wanted. That night, I told my family. They were proud of me. I knew that I had worked hard for this moment. I had not given up. Now I was one step closer to becoming a teacher. I smiled and thought, this is just the beginning. I started my new job as a teaching assistant. It was exciting but also a little scary. I worked with younger students, helping them with their lessons. I enjoyed it. Every day I learned something new. I worked hard to be a good assistant. Soon the principal noticed my effort. One day she called me to her office. "You are doing a great job," she said. "You have a lot of potential. Would you like to be a full teacher one day?" I smiled. This was the moment I had been waiting for. I told her, "Yes, I want to be a teacher. It is my dream." She smiled back. "Then keep working hard. You can do it." From that day, I knew my dream was becoming real. It wasn't easy, but I was ready for the challenge. I would never give up on becoming the teacher I always wanted to be.